Why settle for a regular switch dock when you can have a switch dock? I'll show you how next on Tina Tries. Today's project combines functionality with a bit of nostalgic bite. Today I'm going to be making a Piranha Plant switch dock. This file is by Studio Weimer and can be found on MakerWorld. This was printed on an A1 Mini and an X1 Carbon. I used several different reds, I will get to that later, as well as mistletoe green, bamboo green, brown, white, and black PLA. Overall, this print took about 60 hours to complete. It's a long one, but it is well worth the wait. This build also requires an M4 grub screw, 5x2mm magnets, and 2 different size screws. As usual, everything will be linked in the description below. This should be fairly straightforward, I'm hoping. So let's get to it. First, we are going to put this adapter into the mouthpiece. Then we're going to screw that onto these lips here. So there's our mouthpiece. Now we are going to put the teeth in. So these are all sized to fit in a certain order. All of these little pegs on the inside here are a different size. So each tooth has a specific location that it goes in. So for this part, I am just going to use a little bit of regular super glue to get these to stay. This big tooth does have a cutout and that goes against the lips here. The next step is to put all of the dots into the outside of the Piranha Plant. So the nice thing about this file is that these are all numbered and all of the dots are also numbered, so you cannot mess up putting these in place. Some of these are a little messy on the edge, so I'm probably going to clean them up a little bit before I start gluing them in. So let me get out my little clippers. So they also have a notch in them, and there's a notch in each of the holes, so it tells you how to align it. So they just pop right in. You can glue these in if you want to, but these are in there really well, so you really don't need to glue them unless they fall right out. I'm just gonna match up all the numbers. I'm gonna make sure the edges of these are clean, and I'm gonna pop in all of the dots. There we have the base, and there we have all of the dots on the main part, except for the one that needs the little grub screw. All right, next we need 2 5x2 magnets, and we also need the little grub screw. So this is an M4 grub screw. In the instructions, initially it says an M4, but when you get to this step, it says M3. M3 is definitely not the right size, it is an M4. So the grub screw is gonna go into this hole here, and you screw it in. There's access behind this hole here, which is that one with the little star behind it. And you can fit the Allen screw through here to tighten it. You do not want it to go all the way through here yet until we've attached the head to the stem, but it is in place. Now I need to put those 5 by 2 millimeter magnets onto this piece and then also into the head. So we have both of our magnets seated. I am just gonna clean up the supports on the edge of this really quick. So while I was printing this, I ran out of this dark red color and I started using my other red, which I also ran out of, so then I finished it in black. So to solve that, I am just gonna paint it red and then it will all match and we'll be ready to rock for assembly. Nobody wants to watch me paint that, so I will be back in a jiffy. And I'm back. All right, so I have evened out the color and now I am ready for assembly. First, we are going to put the mouth into the top part of the Piranha Plant. And these 2 screws are going to be what holds it together. All right, so these are my M3 screws here, the 10 millimeter. Right, so that is assembled. And now we are going to put the bottom part of the Piranha Plant on. So there is a notch here, and there is also a notch here. So you want to make sure that they are lined up before you screw this on. And these screws here are my number 6 1/2-inch screws. The M3s are a little bit too skinny and too short to hold these pieces together, so I got bigger screws. And there we have the main part of the Piranha. Next, we are going to attach the stem to the earth here. So the earth has a square and 3 circle notches, and so does the bottom of the stem. So we're just gonna match those up. Then we're gonna turn it over and we're going to screw this together. So again, this is another one where these M3 screws are a little bit too skinny and not quite long enough to hold these pieces together. So I am gonna use these number 6 1/2-inch screws again. The dirt and the stem are together. Next, we are going to assemble the tube to the bottom of the earth piece. Again, this has a square and 3 circles. So does the bottom of the earth. So these line up exact. And then we are going to put the screws in through here. Those are going to be my 1/2-inch screws again. There we go. No wobble. Perfect. Next part, we are going to assemble the grass to the ground plate here, and that is going to be attached to the bottom of the tube as well. So this section has 4 circles here, and there are 4 pegs right here. So you just line it up like so, and then the pot is going to sit on here. You want to make sure that you line up your screw holes here with the holes that are in the bottom of the base. Then we're going to flip the whole thing over and use the screws to put it in place. Okay, those are aligned. And again, we're going to use the 1/2-inch screws. One of the nice features about this build is that it actually has these little posts that you can wrap the cords around, and then the power cord can come out through this notch in the back, and it even has a little place to kind of hook it around so it doesn't move, which is really nice. Keep everything super neat. Next part is that we are going to thread our USB cable through the ground plates. So I have this power hub docking that I'm going to use. It comes with a USB-C cable, both ends, and then it has this really cool power dock. Plugs into the wall. It has a spot for your HDMI cable. It has a USB 2 port, and it also has the input from your USB-C here. Let's do this the easy way. There we go. All right, so the end of my USB cable is through both ends now. Next is we are going to snap the base of the top of the stem on. This attaches on the base here. And we are going to thread our USB-C cable up through here, and it will come out through the middle of the mouth. This piece you can actually slide down. There is a notch on the stem and also inside of the space part, so it aligns like that. The notch that we lined up in the base of the actual Piranha plant here slides, and it fits right onto the stem as well. Then we have this little dot that had the star behind it. This is where our grub bolt is. So we're gonna go in with our Allen wrench, and through this hole here, we're going to tighten that grub bolt so that it holds the head in place. And it holds. Perfect. So the little dot that we glued the magnet into fits right into there. This one does have a little bit of an edge to it with a like fingernail width opening so that you can pry it out again if you ever need access to that grub bolt. Next, I am going to glue the middle of the leaves into place so that they are secured. Actually, those don't even need glue. Very nice. They just snap together beautifully. So these you can put in any arrangement you want. Same with this. But they forgot a step. So the tongue was not actually a step anywhere in the assembly instructions. And I should have noticed that, but I didn't. So, perfect. So the tongue actually just snaps right in. You don't need glue, you don't need screws. So the controller holders go on to this base here any way you want them to. They just slide right in. You can take them right back out if you don't like where it is. They just pop right out. And you can literally move them wherever you want. Same with the leaves. You can snap these in any arrangement. You can also put games in here. It's really cute and really convenient. I'm going to move the cord down a bit so that it is actually sitting on the dock there. So the rest of the cord I can wind around the bottom and have as little or as much hanging out as I want. And that is our finished switch to dock. And here it is. This was a really fun print. It adds a really cute, really functional piece to my kids' Nintendo themed bedroom. Here are my rankings for this project. Ease of printing, this one gets a 9. You just send the files to the printer, no messing with any settings or orientations. Each piece is pre-arranged on the plates already to minimize layer lines, optimize where the supports are attached, and it also is set up to allow for AMS-free printing. Although, if you have an AMS, the creator also has files that are for AMS-specific printers. Ease of assembly, I'm going to give this one an 8. Once I figured out which screws I needed and I finished painting, the assembly was a breeze. The instructions were not the easiest to follow and there were a couple of steps missing, but overall it was fairly intuitive. The assembly was not that bad. There are also a ton of options to customize this for however you want it to look. You can arrange different size leaves everywhere. You can put the games in these slots. If you have 10 controllers, you can print 10 controller holders and this will hold them all. It's super convenient. And look at it, this is super cool. The designer literally thought of everything. There are files for the original Switch. There are files for the Switch 2. There is a ton of customizable options. You can print the Piranha Plant with dots or stars, depending on how you like it. The teeth can be these rounded ones, which I did because I don't want the screen getting scratched up. But you can also print traditional spiky teeth too if you like that look better. There is even a file that allows for printing of Joy-Con holders that you can wire up so that they will also charge when they're resting on these leaves. So there are a lot of ways to customize this and make it look however you want it to look. So that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed this and you wanna see more fun projects, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Drop a comment in the section below. This next episode is for all of you Jordan fans out there. So I will see you on the next one.